while articles are usually longer than letters. The fourth difference is that you ask the reader to write back. So if you want to finish your letter, you ask your friend to write back. While in the article, you summarize the main points. You don't have to ask the readers to write back. You just summarize the main ideas that you have talked about. And the last thing, it finishes with the writer's name. So you write down your name at the end of the letter, while in the article it finishes with a conclusion. And by the way, conclusion and summarizing are related, because in the conclusion you summarize the main ideas, the main suggestions, the main justifications that you make. All right, now let's have a look at a model of a letter. So here we go. Do you think this is an article or a letter? Well, it's very obvious, it's a letter. And why is that? Because we have salutation, so here's the salutation, and the opening remarks, of course. So you start your letter saying that you feel sorry and you are worried about your friend or other things, okay? Another thing is that the main body of the letter, this is the main body, okay? And this is the last paragraph. So you ask your reader to write back soon. So where is the expression that says you want your friend to write back? So write back soon. So you ask your friend to write back soon for you. And of course, you add your name. So where's the name? Here we go. Hussein is the name. Okay, right. So this is the layout of a letter. It's totally different from the article. It starts with a salutation and it ends with a name, while in the article it's another thing. So now let's have a look at a model of an article. So as you can see here, it consists of 3 paragraphs. So what do you think the first paragraph is? In the first paragraph, this is the introduction. Why are you writing this article? I'm writing this article to give you some suggestions about how to be good at English. So this is the main idea here. So this is the introduction. What about the second paragraph? The second paragraph, you just write down your suggestions and justifications. Well, you can have 2 suggestions and 2 justifications. If you want to write more, you can have 3. It's up to you and how many ideas you have. So where is the first suggestion? So your friend problem. What is the problem here again? Your friend is not that good at English, and you are writing this letter to give him some suggestions. So the first one is watch English movies. And what is the expression that we use to give this suggestion? You should. The other suggestion is, why don't you buy a good dictionary? So here's another suggestion. And the third one, it would be a good idea to read English stories. And if you pay attention to this paragraph, there is a justification after each suggestion. So it's very important to provide a justification, reason for each suggestion. And what about the third paragraph here? All in all, what you really need to do is to keep practicing. If you do this, your English level will be better and you won't worry about English exams anymore. So in this paragraph, we summarize the main points that we mentioned in the second paragraph. I just wanted to remember that the main body is the most important part of this kind of writing, because it has all the suggestions, it has all the justifications. And again, as I said, so if you start reading the second paragraph, to start with, you should watch English movies. So this is a suggestion. I know you love watching movies. So this is, you can elaborate on the idea. You can add more details to this suggestion. But here's the justification. That way, your speaking will get better quickly. So again, we have a suggestion and a justification. The same thing with the second sentence. Why don't you buy a dictionary? Again, this is the suggestion, and you can elaborate on this idea. You can find many dictionaries for beginners and at very low prices. And where is this justification? Here's the justification. By doing this, you will look up any difficult words. You can find out any difficult word. You can search for any difficult words. Okay, and the third one, of course, it would be a good idea to read English short stories. So again, here's another suggestion. And where's the justification? It is here. If you do this, you will learn plenty of new words every day. So as I said, this is the main body and it's the main part of writing an article. And remember to write an introduction. It has to be powerful, and you need to mention the problem that you are going to focus on. And in the conclusion, as we said, you summarize the main points that you have mentioned in the main body. All right, let's move on. Now, this is the article layout, and as you can see, we have the summary of your suggestions, present the topic, first suggestion and reason example, second suggestion and reason examples or example. I just want you to match each title to the correct paragraph or with the correct paragraph. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to do this and we'll come back. So let's have a look at the answer. So in paragraph 1, we present the topic. So this is the introduction or the problem that you are going to discuss. So in the second paragraph, we write about our first suggestion and reason examples. And of course, the same paragraph, we can write about the second suggestion and reason and examples. And of course, you can have more than 2 suggestions if you have more ideas. And in the final paragraph, we summarize our suggestions again. But again, you need to use different words. You can rephrase your language. You can use synonyms in order to summarize the suggestions. Now, the final task. Now it's your turn to write a new article about one of the following problems. Well, we have 2 problems. The first one is, many students at your school are overweight. What can you do? What are the suggestions for them? Or many teenagers are now addicted to video games. So you can choose one of these problems and write down your article. But make sure that you make suggestions and justification for each problem. And this will help you after you finish writing. You can go and check yourself. You can make or undertake a self-assessment in order to make sure that you have covered all the important points that we have to include in an article. So the first one is you make sure that you wrote an introduction. The second one, I made 2 or 3 suggestions. The third one is that you use suggestion expressions. Remember to use the expressions. This is very important. And number 4, I wrote justifications for the suggestions. Again, after you write the suggestion, you follow it up with a justification or reason 5, you use justification expressions. Again, don't forget to use the expressions that we have discussed before. And number 6, remember to use capital letters. So it's all about capitalizations and punctuation skills. So this is very important. I put full stop at the end of each sentence, and the last one, you write a conclusion. And again, in the conclusion, you summarize the whole thing, the main points that you mentioned in the main body or the second paragraph of the article. All right, so remember, you can also refer to the model in this lesson or your student's book on page 60. There is another article there. You can have a look at it and use some of the ideas there. That's all for today. I hope that you enjoyed our lesson today and it was beneficial for you, and see you very soon. Goodbye.